Why do twin flame runners leave even when they love you? So I've been the runner, I've been the chaser, and now I am in union with my twin soul. And I'm here to share my perspective with you, simply my perspective. So many of you know me as Avalon Kisby, the tarot reader, but that is only a fraction of the knowledge that I have gained and remembered as I've gone on my twin flame journey, and I'm here to share it with you. So what I share with you, this is not necessarily theory, this is purely my experience. And this might be really helpful for you if you've been the one that's been left and you're wondering, did they ever really love me? Or perhaps this is you as the runner and you're still trying to make sense of it all. Initially, it was me that left my twin flame, even though I was very much in love with them. And at the time, I didn't fully understand why. What I did know is that when they came into my life, it changed everything. So many of you may know my backstory, that I grew up in a very religious household and my parents had chosen someone for me to marry. I got to meet this person when I was 15 and then later we married when I was 18. And that person was a really nice person, but I was very unhappy within the marriage. Not just within the marriage, but actually within the church structure. However, my entire identity was stemmed within the church. All of my family were members. All of my friends were members. I did not have a life outside of church. So I was already teetering like a ticking time bomb. And when I was 25, I decided that it did not matter how good I was never going to be good enough in the church, or at least that's what I perceived back then. And it was around that time that I first met my twin flame. And no, I did not know what twin flame meant. I had no idea about what the purpose was behind us meeting. I did not know any of that. All I knew is that they shook my world. They were everything that my parents and my church would have warned me about. And I made a choice, perhaps the first major decision that I had ever made in my life that would go against my family and everything that I knew. And that time in my life was a complete roller coaster. And yet it was this soul that wanted to break free, is what it felt like. And I did start a relationship with my twin flame, and we were in union for 4 years. We lived together. And the beginning few years felt incredibly magnetic. It felt like it was us against the world, and that brought the dynamic even closer together. But as time ticked on and I became more and more alienated from my family, then things started to really wear down on me. So initially there was this real adrenaline that came with the relationship, and then came the second stage, which you may have experienced, which is the triggering stage. And you tend to trigger one another and to bring up one another's insecurities. Now, because I was not so awakened to understand what the twin flame journey was about, when they were triggering me, I saw them as the one being at fault. I was genuinely very insecure, and I did not have the maturity at that time to look inwards and say, okay, I've got to fix this. Like I say, I saw them as the problem, and the only way to remove that problem was to remove myself from the relationship. And when I ran, I collapsed everything, very much reminding me of the Tower card within tarot. I left the country, I started a new relationship, and I told myself that it was over. Essentially, I detonated the connection. The thing is, even though I had done all of that, I still couldn't erase that magnetic connection that we had between us. And I continued to feel the pull. As I mentioned, I had started a new relationship, and this time I had felt like such a failure from my 2 previous experiences, then this was the relationship that I decided I was not going to run from. But it became the most miserable of all of my experiences. And I would quite literally pray for somehow to be released from it. However, it was during those years that I saw all of my own BS, and I was able to look back on the previous relationships and realize that I was a common denominator, and that the triggers that I had felt through each of those relationships, that there was something within me that needed to be looked at. My message is this, that love is not always enough if you're not ready to hold it. We often hear the phrase, if they wanted to, then they would, but it's not always that simple. Sometimes the love is there, but we haven't done the inner work to be able to hold it, to meet it, and to honor it. And that is especially true if you're on the twin flame path. It's not always about the romance. A lot of this is to do with your own initiation and the soul's growth. So for many of us, union does not come until after a death experience, a death of old identities, a death of survival patterns, and a death of emotional avoidance. I couldn't come back until I had broken down everything within me that had taught me to run. Looking back on it, I'm incredibly grateful for all of the experiences that I had. Some of them I still, to this day, I don't feel proud about, and certainly I wouldn't want to do it again. But the amount of growth that I have experienced and remembered on this journey is like no other experience. And there have been so many stages within this journey that of course I will try and share with you. This is a journey that started for me back in 1995, but it has assisted me to become my most authentic self, and I finally do live a life that I truly love, and one where I am in union with my twin soul. Maybe that's something we can talk about another time, the different types of soul dynamics, whether that be a soulmate or a twin flame or a twin soul. If you would like to hear about that, then let me know in the comments.